afternoon. Welcome in this webinar. This is Erik van Arkel from Anymetrics65. Together with Gelding, we want to present you today Anymetrics65, our cloud dialogue management system for Skype for Business and for Teams. Today, we will show you around in the capabilities for both Skype for Business and for Teams. Give you a quick demo, how that looks like. Try to do a couple of channels like calls, WhatsApps. And also we will try to give you a demo using ServiceNow and also for the bot. You're more than happy to ask questions in the chat portion in the chat in Teams. I will stop at the end of the meeting to answer the chat, and my colleague is in the meeting as well, so hopefully he will can answer the questions as well. So let's get started. I'm the sales director of Anymetrics65. Been working with Gelding for quite a while now. We have been helping customers leveraging their Microsoft UC systems with Anymetrics65. We have built Anymetrics65 from our head office in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and we have a mission in mind, and that is reducing unnecessary dialogues. So we want to present the right call to the right agent at the right time, and also with the right information to help that customer with high customer satisfaction and also with efficiency, of course. And as said, we do this based on Microsoft technology. We will use either Skype for Business or Teams to deliver the call to the agent. So everybody could be an agent in the organization who has Skype for Business or Teams. We say that with Anymetrics65, you can really leverage the investments inside or in your Microsoft ecosystem. We have done this for lots of customers around the globe in multiple countries. And for all of them, we have presented Anymetrics65 as a solution for their contact centers, but not only for their contact centers. We say as Anymetrics65 that we see everybody as a contact center. So not only the first line agents who will take calls, but also if you want to transfer that conversation to a second line agent, at that time they're also part of the contact center. And you want to include them in reporting, in recording. You want to also present information to that person to handle that call with lots of customer satisfaction, of course. But there's lots of contact centers around as well. So not only the contact center itself, but also maybe the internal service desk, maybe an HR department, maybe boss secretary features, maybe your website, your social media. These are all contact center to us and can be handled using your Microsoft ecosystem. In basics, you could say that this is representing how Anymetrics65 will work. On the left, you will see lots of contact center contact points. You can say email, WhatsApp, web chat, but calls, of course. We can route these based on easy to manage and easy to set business rules. And these business rules can be managed inside of your own SharePoint Online. So you can have a control panel there to configure how the calls will be routed or how the chat will be routed to which agents. And you can define agent skills. Agent availabilities will be looked at through like the regular availability sent out by Skype or Teams. So we'll find an agent based on availability and on skill levels, but we also can apply things like last agent routing, or maybe you have set in your CRM system that a certain person has certain skills to help that specific customer. Then you can route based on what's in your CRM, or maybe someone has an unpaid invoice. You can route based on the unpaid invoices to the cash collection department. We're not only using SharePoint Online to configure the routing rules, but you can also apply other things from the Microsoft ecosystem, like Power Apps or Power Automate. With Power Apps, you can say, I want to have an app which will close the contact center or reconfigure the contact center with one press of the button. Or if you want to give an easy app to the supervisors to maybe change the skill levels of agents or assign people in or out of the queues without giving them access to the configuration panel, you could build your own Power App. And the same goes for Power Automate. So maybe there are business processes in your organization which will have to be applied to the routing rules. So if someone is marked as a VIP customer, and then you can add this let's say label to Anymetrics65, and we can route that incoming customer based on that he's a VIP. We can have lots of scenarios there. You can build your own, or Gelden can help with you creating this. So apart from the regular set of business rules you can apply, there's also a way of applying external services to the incoming dialogues. So that could be services in Azure. So it could be maybe a translation. So someone chats in, let's say, Chinese, and you don't have a Chinese-speaking agent available. The chat can be answered in someone in English, because we will, or Microsoft will, translate that Chinese to English. Your agent can type back in English, but the customer will read Chinese. So that could be possible, but also things like chatbots, where the bot in voice or in chat could answer the call, answer the chat, and based on maybe frequently asked questions, try to help that customer. And if you can't answer that question, you can maybe raise the ticket in your CRM or ITSM ticketing system, and route to a skilled agent, etc. So we are able to apply state-of-the-art innovative features out there on like in the cloud to your dialogues to help your customers and also be more efficient in handling those conversations. If everything goes well, my colleague Michael, who's also in this meeting, will demo you how you can apply this with the combination with ServiceNow. But at one point, we probably have to talk to a live agent. And once again, we will find that live agent based on availability and skill level. And of course, we can report in real time about the incoming dialogues. So we will have real-time wallboards representing SLAs, agent statuses, the dialogue itself. You can see this on the live screens. We also have historical reporting that's in Power BI. We're going to take you through that as well. And we have a large set of templates which will represent the data created by Innovatix 365. And of course, because it's Power BI, you can change it around to fit your needs. But at some point, we will find an agent. And that agent can be living in either Microsoft Teams or Skype. So we will publish also information about the incoming caller inside of that Skype or Teams client. So in practice, you will, as an agent, you will get the call. You don't need another client than your Skype or Teams client. You will take the call and will see information about the caller. And that information is pulled out of your backend systems and published to the agent. It will also contain information about previous calls or chats. So you can see in that timeline that someone called before to another department, spoken with John, transferred to Pete, and gave an 8 for the conversation, and the call was about something. So you could see this in we call it the extension window. There's also a way of embedding our client inside of a certain CRM or ITSM systems. So examples here: Salesforce, Dynamics, ServiceNow, Cloud for Customer are all capable of hosting a client inside of this. So if you receive a call on your Teams or Skype, Dynamics will automatically look up information about that caller in Dynamics directly. So you will see their account card or whatever you want directly pushed to the agent. We also have an app, and that app is used on your mobile phone. And so if you're traveling, if you can travel again, and you take a call on your mobile phone, this app can publish the same information from your backend systems to your mobile phone to maybe help people in the weekends on call, or maybe people traveling to customers. So this is the basic what we do, and let's now zoom in on the different kind of clients before we jump into the live demo. So once again, we will take the call in Skype. In this example, the call comes in. You get a regular toast with the integration of the backend systems, and you take the call, and you probably recognize the Skype client with the 4 buttons below. But you also see that we have pushed the extension window inside of that Skype client. And in my situation, we have pulled information from Dynamics and pushed this into the extension window. You can see that Eric is called. Want to talk about sales, And you can see some details. We can change it around, of course. It's something we can decide on. You also see previous contacts and also some cases. And these are all hyperlinks. So if you click on this, the actual page in your CRM will open at that spot. And you can also see that as a timeline. So I've called earlier in May last year. And you can see that I talked to Eric. You can see what the queue time was, how many time it took before Eric took the call, like 4 minutes in a call. Afterwards, the agent hung up. The customer gave a 9 for the conversation, and afterwards the customer hung up. And the recording hyperlink is over here. So you can just click on that link and the recording can be listened to. There are also some other buttons here to create conferences, to do call transfer, to do classification. So you can say the call is about this, 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 this. And you can also start, stop recording. So really convenient tool, which will not only utilize your Skype client, but also push extra information inside of it. We have seen customers who already use N365 without this integration, saving 100 seconds per call because they don't have to look up information about the caller. So imagine what it can do for your organization if you can save up 100 seconds in average per call. But of course, we will see Microsoft also looking at some other technology like Teams. So this is also available in Teams, and it looks like this. So we'll demo this in a bit. I'm just going to talk to you a bit through this. So you can see that we have also pushed the call to a Teams client. We will take the call in Teams, and then you can see that there's information about the same caller, only represented in a different way as the Skype client. You can see information from Dynamics. You can see the timeline. You can also see there's a queue inside of this client. But let's not stay here too long. You can also see that we can look up other modalities there. We will demo that in a bit. It's more fun. I think also big in South Africa, I'm in the Netherlands, where it's also very big, is WhatsApp. And we're also able to connect WhatsApp or other channels to this agent, so your agents can handle not only chats from the website or calls or emails, but also WhatsApp directly from one single interface. So one of the good things has been not only leveraging the Microsoft technology, but with that we also are able to connect different channels to one single client for the agent. And again, of course, we will report on every step of this customer journey, and we'll report on the agents there as well. So you can see all different modalities in the same reporting stack. We are able to also integrate with different applications. So this is what it looks like in Dynamics. It's Microsoft will push us to the right but you use a channel integration framework for this. And you can see that an incoming call will make sure that we will find the right person in Dynamics directly. So in the previous slides, you will see that we will pulling information outside of a CRM system and pushing this inside of a Skype or Teams client. In this method, using the web agent, we can also embed our client inside of your CRM system. In this case, it's Dynamics, but it could also be ServiceNow, and Michael will demo this in a bit. Reporting is very detailed. Because we monitor every call and every step in the call, we can show those details. And we could also monitor the present status of every agent. And combining these data will make sure that you have lots of details about everything what's happening in your contact center or service desks. And because it's Power BI, you can also import or create views with different data sets connected. So you can see maybe that the influence of weather will do something with your calls or WhatsApp or something else. So it could completely be customized to your needs. Something maybe to say is that we will also store all call detail records, so all the details about every call and about the agents in your own SQL. The SQL could be on-prem, could be Azure-based, a SQL somewhere. So there's no GDPR issues. It will be your data only. Same goes for the settings page I referred to earlier. This is an example for my settings page. We'll just go to the live demo in a bit. You will see my settings page. And this will also be your SharePoint Online, so you can create, you can control who has access to that SharePoint page. So if you have multiple locations, maybe in Joburg, one in Cape Town, the manager of Cape Town cannot access the Joburg the configuration page. Maybe centralized IT can access both and can do everything, but the local managers can only do, let's say, agent changes, skill level changes, and maybe some opening hours. So you could completely delegate administration and determine to what extent you want to delegate the administration. Something new, and Michael will demo this today, is our Node-RED Dialog Studio integration. We have opened up N365 with lots of APIs, and we have created libraries for this. And using our API platform, Dialog Studio, you can combine this with lots of other APIs out there. So you can connect this with Dialogflow from Google, or Azure bot framework from Microsoft. But all other APIs could be easily connected to events inside of our Dialog Studio, and Michael will show you what is possible with this today. So you can easily create scenarios with this and use different kinds of thing, and you can make it as advanced as you want. I think your imagination will be the limitation of this solution. Yes, let's go to the live demo, and I will pull up this slide again after this meeting, so we know that who to contact. He's my local contact in South Africa. Must be Keith, very knowledgeable, very experienced on N365. So don't hesitate to call Keith. Okay, I've talked about the SharePoint page a couple of times right now. This is my SharePoint page. It's UCC Eric. It's my contact center, my demo contact center. And UCC stands for Universal Contact Center. And we have lots of multiple virtualized contact center entities inside of one solution. So you can have multiple contact centers throughout your organization, and they all can be managed totally independently from each other. So you can scale out tremendously, so without any limitation. It's really easy to set up and to scale out throughout your business. I want to take you through a couple of items in this configuration. I don't want to bore you to death today, so I won't go to every option here. But in another session, if you want to dive into this, you can ask me some questions for this, and also in the chat, maybe Michael can answer this. But this is my desktop, and this is the dashboard I have been talking about. You can see the number of agents and supervisors. You can also see how many agents are connected to which skill. And there's also an outbound campaign dialer. So you can use your Skype or Teams as an outbound campaign dialer. We will invite agents based on a list you may have put into the system with Power Automate. So that is something we could do. We can also set business hours for each contact center or each call flow. You can also define holiday tables for each call flow. That may be different for the certain departments. Maybe support has less holiday days than other departments. And you could also say recording has to be turned on or off for one particular call flow or for the other. But let's just configure a small, easy call flow. And for this, I will need an agent. And remember, this is not an agent experience. This is something what a supervisor would do. I will quickly drag you through it. You can see that there's a couple of agents here based on the SIP addresses. So I can add people from different SIP domains. You can see that Tim from Gelden is also an agent in my demo. So you can see that you can easily add people to scale out your contact center. And this could also even be people without a Skype or Teams account, and you can use telephone numbers to use them as an agent in the system. For each agent, you can also say an agent is able to log in and out of the system, or is just an agent, and whenever he's available and when it's his turn to take calls, he will get a call. You can also define customer hours for each agent. So maybe someone, or maybe Tim is off on Friday, And then he could set that he won't receive calls even when he's online. So I have already created an agent for myself, so let's not do it again. And I have lots of skills I can define, and with the skills, I can say how the calls has to be routed to a set of agents. So a regular skill will try to find the highest skilled agents available, and you can set skills from 100 to 0. And if there are multiple at the same time available, then we will use a hunting method, maybe longest idle, shortest talk time today, round robin, whatever you want. And then we will offer the call to him or her on a Skype or a Steam client. Same goes for chat. Availability skill will look at the general availability of the group. So if everybody, let's say, in a group is offline, yeah, there's no need to wait until someone gets the call. No, it just overflow to the to another department, another location, to the receptionist, to voicemail, whatever. Same goes for countdown. But countdown, you can say people. We will offer the call to 100% skilled agents only for the first period, let's say 30 seconds. And after the 30 seconds, also include lesser skilled agents and drop down from 100 to 0. So you will enlarge the group who can take that call and start with the highest skilled people. And if you can't find someone in that period of time, just overflow to another skill. So this is a combination of those two. This is just connect one. Let's do a new one. Let's say Gelden. I want it on the wallboard, and for the first 30 seconds, I only want agents who are very, very skilled on Gelden. After the 30 seconds, drop down from 100% skill value to 0 in, let's say, 20 seconds. And after the 50 seconds in total, and we haven't found someone, we will just go to an overflow, which is already a skill in my system from previous demos. Save. So now I have a new skill. Let's dismiss those. And I have to connect agent to that skill. So I can say on Gelden, I'm 100% skilled with my Teams client. Let's do a Teams demo today. Save. So now I've connected myself to the skill Gelden, and I can have multiple skills on multiple levels. And of course, a skill can have multiple agents on multiple levels. But now I'm good configuring, and I can configure the IVR. In the IVR, I can set a welcome message. This could be text to speech in 60 languages. Of course, you can use audio files, which is my advice. We will play a recording message when recording is on. We can say there's an alternative message when you call in out of hours, and it will route also to an alternative call flow. Maybe in my case, you have to press 1 to be forwarded to the on-call service, which is my mobile. It can also say that if too many people call at the same time, it will give you a message. But let's configure the actual choices in the menu. I will edit this item. And I want to route to a skill, and not for team support, but for Gelden support. And I want to make the choice 2. I don't want to use a timeout, and I want to give an answer, like an acknowledgement if someone made a choice 2. And let's select Gelden here. So if for someone press 2, it will present this message and go to this skill, which I'm an agent in that skill. I can define like unlimited depth of the IVR. No customer wants this, but it can be done. We have callbacks in the queue. So if someone is in queue for, let's say, 2 minutes, we can say, it seems to be very busy. If you want to be called back, press 1. And then we will call them back if they acknowledge the number or change the number to the correct number. And there's also queue position. So if someone is in queue, we will say how many people are in front of you of the queue. But that we have configured everything. As once again, I don't want to bore you to death in the configuration. I want to just show you one thing, which I like, pretty straightforward. You can say if someone with a particular number is calling, and which could be an automatic entry from your CRM system, route it to the VIP desk. An agent with a VIP skill can handle those calls. Or if someone calls from a certain area in the country, then it can route to a specific skill. Or if someone calls from another country, like in Austria, the numbers start with plus 43, sorry, and then it will route to Austria from here. So you can determine something, but something you know of a customer. Michael will show you around in more like advanced stuff, but this is really straightforward to do. So let's go to my VM, otherwise I couldn't demo. So you can see that this, I have a couple of tools on my desktop right now. There's a wallboard. You can see that Gelder is automatically populated on this wallboard. We have loads of wallboards, which will represent different views of the data. This one will show how many dialogues, how many missed, what the average queue time is, how many agents are available in which state. But there's also lots of other ways of representing the same data. Some are more client-centric, more dialogue-centric. Some are more agent-centric or SLA. If you have small TVs, you can use this one. And you can see the status of different agents in a certain state. You can see how many seconds or minutes people are on lunch or on discharge or doing admin or in call. So there's lots of ways of representing the data. So let's use this one. But in especially in these times, there may not be a room where everybody is sitting and taking calls with a view on a nice wallboard, because everybody's working from home. So we also have a snapper, and the snapper is like a mini wallboard. So it will show the same amounts, but then on the agent desktop or the supervisor desktop, you can see the same metrics, and also your personal calls. There's also a way of viewing your team, and if you're a supervisor, you can also change the present status of your agents. This is a view where you can see all the calls in the system in different stages. So how many calls incoming, how many calls in waiting queue, and some are connected. If I'm a supervisor, then I can also listen in through this tool to this call or whisper in this call. And there are some other statistics. We can see how many calls someone did today, and also with more detailed view on the particular skills. You may guess where I did the demo this morning. And there's a way of logging in and out of different queues. You can see that I'm a formal agent in most queues, so I can't log out, and I'm only a supervisor in my own demo UCC. So this is Teams, and as you all seen that I've published an app inside of Teams, which will show information. Oh, sorry about this. Which will show information about the customer calling. There's also some data you can see. You can sign out. I can change the theme. And there's also lots of other same buttons to log in and out of the queues. And I can also change the view of the queue. So I want to see smaller emails, or maybe also a part of the body. I want to group on status or on something else. So that's something the agent can do themselves. So let's do a quick call. Have you see the wallboard? I'm mobile here. To the calling queue. Recording message displayed. No Skype support today. Yeah, we're going for Gelden. So let's see the call coming in. It will offer me the call. I accepted the call. Oh, let me mute myself. Okay, so I took the call, and you will see that I pulled information from our backend systems, and you know it's Eric based on the telephone number Eric sent. And you can see extra information. It will also pop out that CRM with this. You can see also the timeline. You can see that I've called before today, talked about New Zealand, talked with this agent. You can see also some details of this call. You can see that the queue time was 60 seconds. Eric picked up in his Teams client, and the call took quite long, like almost half an hour. Afterwards, the agent hung up. And there was no classification of the call. But let me see if there is another call as well. And it will find information. So Eric called earlier again and also called about New Zealand. The queue time was less, 14 seconds. The talk time was also a bit less. So you can see there's lots of details about the calls here. And if customers are willing to give you a quality monitoring score, you can see the quality monitoring score as well, which will be offered at the end of the call if you have configured this. So there's also ways of looking up cases directly from here. And you just click, and then in my case, Dynamics will open at this spot. There's also a way of labeling this this conversation with, say, this call is about golf, it's about this, and this, but could also push this at the end of the call, and I will show you this in a bit. But maybe the caller says, I have to also send you an email or a chat message. I have a question about this. So you can also search in the text messages. I already searched, and you can see that there's multiple modalities being used by Eric. He's used WhatsApps, he's used emails. So let's check that email and see what he had to say. And we will pull up that email, and you can see some information about that email. I can't accept this email because it's already been archived. But if it was an open email, I could open that email straight from the queue and handle the chat and the call at the same time. But let's not do this today. So I've handled this conversation. Let me just disconnect this call.
Please the quality of the call from 0 to 9.
No, I'm pretty happy. So
thank you for including our customer.
You see the wrap-up time running here. So thank you. In this time, I can't receive a new call, and this call will stay active until I finish this conversation. So let me finish, and I will be able to take new calls. Because I did not do the classification, it will prompt me with this tool. So we'll say this call is about golf, it's about golf balls, and then save. And now the call is being labeled with this label into the reporting. I say handled, and now I'm able to take the calls back. So let's do a quick WhatsApp as well. So on the WhatsApp, you can see the WhatsApp coming in. It's hello South Africa. Let me take this chat. And you can see that I also see the previous chat from Eric. You can see that CRM information is pulled out at the same situation. Because this will take more space than a call, we have the timeline over here. You can see the same data. And I can just type back, hello, Eric. And I can also use predefined responses. So I could say he probably wants to charge his electrical car, and then I can just add this to the message. Also add some attachment to this chat, and I can just press send, and then my phone will receive that message. So now I will keep doing that thread. You know, with WhatsApp, you just chatting back and forth, and here's the chat. Until I press finish, it will still get back to the same agent every time. So let's handle this conversation. And again, I will get the same notification about classification. handled. And I'm free to take another calls. So before I will hand over to Michael, let me go back to my other screen and show you the reporting. So this is my reporting in Power BI based on the data in the SQL database, which is your data. You can also do other reporting stuff with it, but we have built templates for and SQL reporting services and Power BI, but Power BI just looks better. So you see reports will show you information about UCCs, Universal Contact Centers, could be different locations or different departments. And you can see the data, how many accepted, how many missed, how many quick drops, how many talk time and FSQ times. We can also zoom in on different queues. So let's see if I can zoom in on the Benelux from my colleague in Belgium. And you can see that this data will change based on his metrics. Only 366 calls, a lot of misses, so I need to talk with him. Also a lot of quick drops. So you can dive into the same information. You can also search and look at busy times in the system. And this could be just scrolled in through here, like this. And you could also say, I want to apply multiple filters. So I want to see only WhatsApps or only emails, or only inbound, only outbound. I want to see specific UCCs. I want to see in specific dates or skills. You can apply these rules yourself very easily. You can also see high volume callers. You can see this one has been calling quite a lot and a lot of misses. You can also see how many calls, which skills people are using. You can see that in our demo, we use a lot of skills. We will make a skill every time. So this report isn't that representative for you. We also dive into agents. So you can see who did the most calls for this contact center. And you can see the metrics for the total, but if you just zoom in on the top agent, you can see how many calls he did and how many acceptance. Only his hunting time is quite long, it's 47 seconds, is quite long. You can also see how many calls are transferred and what the transfer rate is. So you can say if someone has to transfer a lot, you might have to do something about his training, but you want to, of course, have the call resolved in the first call. You can dive very deep. You can see you can see all the details of all the calls right here. You can see which dialogue type, action type, date, starting time, talk time, which skill, which agent. But if that's not enough, you can also dive in. Let's take one, and I can just drill down to the dialogue detail. And it will show every step of the customer journey, with how many seconds on which position in the queue, what he done on what particular time, if the call was transferred, you can see that as well. Also the location of the recording, and there's a summary over here. So who was the agent? This is the link to the recording. This was the qualification. So you see lots of details right here. So I hope that I took you through a journey of an admin, of an agent handling both calls and a chat and showing you some reporting. So let me just pull up the slide again where Keith and mine contact details are. I want to really thank you a lot for taking the time to listen to this webinar. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or to Keith. And we are more than happy to take you through what N365 can do for your organization. So once again, lots of thanks.